Hi, my name's Philip Hinkle, and I'm here today to give you a little tutorial on a product from proDAD called proDrenalin. proDrenalin is for the adrenaline junkies out there that like to use the point of view cameras that have become quite the rage in extreme sports. The very fact that they're point of view cameras, they often have a very wide angle lens so you can see more of what's going on, and so that gives them oftentimes a fisheye effect. Plus, because they're for extreme sports, they're also very often shaky, kind of hard to watch footage. Well, proDrenalin has stepped in to help make that footage more watchable. So let's jump in, get started, and see what we got. First thing we want to do is open a file. We can either click here and open some media, or we can go to a folder and just drag it in. I'm going to try that. I've got a folder here that's open. I'm going to highlight that clip and this clip because I know they've got some footage in them I want. We can actually work with two clips in our media bin over here. You can see I've got my GoPro footage 8633 and 8628. First one I want to work with is 8628. This is a friend of mine's son who got to go hang gliding a couple weeks ago at a hang gliding school, and he had my GoPro with him and shot some cool footage. So let's look and see what our footage looks like. If we hit the play button, you can see there's some shake in there, and it just looks like a lot of fun to me. But I found a spot at around 243 into the footage. If you look down here, we have a timeline that shows us the different times in our footage, and we can get within a certain range. I want to go to 243. I'm getting close. You can see our time back over here as well. 243. That looks good, and I'm going to take and slide this in marker over, so I'm only going to process the footage between my in and out. You can also see down here some information on your video. Right now our range is 243 to 630. We don't want to go that long. I actually only want about 10 seconds, so I want to find 253. So I want to take my out point, move it down. I can see in here, see right here, 310, I'm getting close. So I'm going to come down to 253 or close to it. That looks good. All right, so now we're only going to process this section between here. Let's have a look at it in regular time. It's got some jumps and some shakes to it. You can kind of keep your eye on the pulling plane out there that's towing them up, and you'll get an idea of what proDrenalin is going to do. We'll be able to see that in the finished result. Okay, the next thing I want to do is select a profile. A profile is for different types of cameras, and a lot of them have already been created. You can see there's a lot for the GoPro, the Canon EOS, Samsung Galaxy S3. So I'm going to take and pick the one that I use. I have the GoPro 2, and I use the 1080 wide mode. As you can see, when I selected that profile, it has taken my horizon and fixed it. If I take and turn this off, that's my raw footage, and here is the footage after the horizon has been compensated for in our camera profile. Already that's looking kind of cool. If your particular camera isn't listed in the profiles, you can actually create your own camera profile, but you have to have dfisher installed, which is another proDAD utility. Once you get dfisher, you can actually create a profile for your camera. That's exactly what dfisher will do. It will help you create a profile to remove the fisheye from your camera if there's not one already created. So you may want to check that out as an alternative if your camera is not listed. So next thing across the way are some video effects. You can actually do light color correction. You're not going to get any color grading and crazy stuff in here. It says in a pro editing system, but it's got some presets where you can click on them and get different looks for your footage. Don't really like that one. Let's see what we got. Crime looks. What's a crime look? Oh, nah. Let's play with some pop art. Whoa, don't like that. I think I'll go back. This first one right here looked kind of cool. Gave us a little bit more of a contrasty look. Just wanted to show you some of those other different presets that they have. If you feel like tweaking it a little bit more, you can come over here to Clip Adjustments tab on the right side of your window. If you click there, you can see what my preset's done. Normally these would be straight at 0 all the way down, and it's taken and upped the contrast and dropped the brightness and dropped the saturation a little bit. And so you could feel free to tweak that some more if you wanted. If I slide that, you'll be able to see a little bit of difference. think I'll just kind of make those few small adjustments, and I'll leave it at that. Next thing across our screen that we want to look at is right here where we say stabilize video. If I click that little check box, we get this pop-up window, and it's going to analyze my video. You can see here in the graphs all the different things it's analyzing, and it's going to compensate. Basically, it's going to zoom in on your video a little bit and make adjustments for the back and forth and side to side motion of your camera. Alright, now that's done. If we want to, we can click this horizontal or vertical compare. If we do vertical, you can see here is my raw footage, here is my fixed footage. If I want to do horizontal, it'll be here is my raw footage because there's no ProDrenalin. Here's my ProDrenalin on. You can see the fixed footage. If I hit play, it's going to play, but it's not going to play back quite in perfect time. It's going to stutter around a little bit, but you can sort of see the difference in the movement here. You still got some movement, but it's not near as herky-jerky as it is over here on the left. Once we encode this to our final file, that will all get smoothed out and will look much better. The next option I want to show you is the virtual camera adjustment. To really see what it does, we need to go back to our full screen. So I'll click View Optimized, and if we needed to, we could zoom in a little bit more. The big thing that you will probably use this for is, say you mounted your camera upside down, either because you had to or because you just made a mistake. Well, you can fix that easily. See, we can turn and we can roll this thing all the way around. We can do it really slow if we want, or we can just highlight it, type in 180, hit the enter key, and now we flipped our video. Most editing systems that you have out there will be able to flip a video, but if you don't have an editing system and you're using ProDrenalin to clean up your videos, this may be your only option to fix that. If we want to change it back, we just put in 0, bam, it's back right side up. If maybe we mounted our camera a tiny bit crooked, we could adjust it one way or another just a little bit. We can also tilt it forward or backwards. We can pan it left and right. I just wanted to show you these options in case you need them in the event maybe you mounted your camera upside down or had it off center just a little bit. One other little thing to show you over here on the right is our information tab, and all it really does is shows you how many files you got open, and it also shows you things like your aspect ratio, frames per second, how long your raw file is, things like that. And it even shows you right here how long our final clip is. It's 10 seconds, 0.811. So we're pretty much got that tweaked. It's that simple to fix your footage. Okay, so let's turn off the horizontal compare and just leave it on View Optimized. Now I'm going to come over here to my media bin, and I want to do the same thing for my other clip, this 8633 clip. I took my little tricopter drone out this evening and did a quick flight to try and grab some footage. And I believe somewhere around the 8:22 mark, I was flying at our local Veterans Memorial Park because there's always lots of fun things to fly around there. There's 8:22. I'm going to set my end point, and I want to put my out point at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Just a nice little 8-second clip that we could drop into a project. I'm looking down here to get my precision and my accuracy. So I'm going to drag that until I see 8:30. Getting close. Right about there looks good. Now in this shot, I'm flying up to this flagpole, and I'm actually going to fly up and over the tip of it. And it wibbles around and wobbles a little bit. You can see I've got a side wind, so this ought to be a good test for our program too. Here's our flight. This is the raw footage. You can see it's a little shaky. My particular drone is one of the original ones from way back before they had stabilized gimbals. So mine's basically mounted solid to the frame. And so I have to fight a little bit harder to get my pretty footage than some of the modern ones. But if you've got any kind of shaky footage, even from the modern versions, this should really clean it up nice because it's already done pretty well to begin with. Up here on the top, it's kept all my settings from before. We can pick another preset. Let's pick this one. Whoa, that's way too dark. I'm going to come over here, bump my brightness back up a little bit, take my contrast back down a little bit. I do kind of like some of what it did, so I think I'll leave it about right there. Next thing I need to do is I need to click Stabilize Video so it can go do its work analyzing the footage and get our video ready to go. Alright, let's click the horizontal compare and see what it looks like. On the right is fixed, on the left is not. You can see quite a difference in there, especially when that flagpole comes into the view. It actually settles right down. So I'm going to stop that, and we're pretty much ready to move on to outputting our video in the final output. We have an output media bin over here. Right now there's nothing in it because we have not exported anything. To export, we're going to come up here where it says Export Optimized Media. Now what's happened is I have worked with both of these clips, and so they have been optimized. If I come to Export Optimized Media, it's going to export both of those files as I tell it to. You can see here, Start Export, it's got 2 files selected. I want to say export files into another directory. I've got that clicked because I don't like to overwrite my original files. So I'm going to go find a directory. I made one called proDAD proDrenalin Finals. That's where I want to put it. Let me get my window up there, click OK. And now it's going to export both of these files into this directory. Now here we've got an option to export as an MP4 or as a QuickTime MOV file. I work predominantly on a PC system and I use Edius and it likes MP4s just fine, so I'm going to select the MP4 version. But if your editing system likes MOV files better, feel free to click that and it'll just create an MOV. There is a denoise filter which will actually take grain out of your video and clean it up just a little bit if you've got some video that maybe had some low light issues and some problems with gain and grain mixed into your video. This is pretty good footage because it was taken outside in good light, so I'm just going to leave it. Now we have here an option for view optimized, vertical compare like we had before, or horizontal compare. If we leave these on while we export, we're going to get this in our export. That would give us an opportunity to actually view the files in their fluid version, completely exported and fixed, to compare if we like what's going on. I'm not going to go through that. I'm just going to click View Optimized and let it export my full resolution file out to the output media bin. So all we have to do is click Start Export, and it will begin exporting our media. As you can see, it's plowing through there. It will take a few minutes to finish it all up. This process will take a little bit because it's got to recreate MP4 files, which are highly compressed, small file sizes for the content that's in them. So expect to take a little bit of time. Obviously, performance will vary based on the power of your system. When it's done, we will continue. And our files are just about done exporting. You can see up here my first file is finished. This one is just wrapping up. Once they are both done, both files show up in our output media bin. We have an option in the middle to click the play button to open the stabilized video. You can see this one is pointing to 28 because that's what's highlighted in our bin. If I wanted to play 33 first, that one would be highlighted and it would show here. Let's play 28 since that was the hang glider and see how that came out. Not bad. Look how smooth that plane is, the toe plane out front. Not too bad. Kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to close that. Now I'm going to pick 33. See how my fly over the flagpole went? Well, that seemed to have calmed it down just a bit. Look at that. Looks pretty decent. Left and right sway like that we can't fix, but we can certainly fix the shake back and forth. All right, I'm pretty happy with how those results turned out. If you've got an action cam and a point of view cam and you use it frequently in your outdoor sports for fun, you may want to check out proDrenalin as a way to get your video cleaned up and stabilized. Hope that helps you. Get out there, record some extreme video, record some outdoor sports, and make them look good to show off to all your friends. Take care and have a good one.